All right, so we're going to start this, get this party started, everybody. I am so excited. We've got a lot of people coming. So everybody, welcome to the Women in Exhibition Speaker Series with our amazing guest speaker, Eduardo Acuna from Regal / Cineworld. We're going to start the conversation with a little bit of information about because we got a couple of events coming up and we want to let everybody know about it. And then we'll introduce our sponsor, Luis from Milcom, and then we'll get right into our interview. So I'm going to let Mary tell us a little bit about some stuff we have going on with for the CinemaCon party that we are partnering with SoCal Variety Children's Charity. Mary, please take it away.
Hi, everyone. So save the date for April 9th. Join We in Variety as we look to support our mentorship and sponsorship opportunities for women. More details to come. So just save the date.
We'll be sending out invites for that, y'all. All righty. So let's get Milcom's PDF up.
Okay, there you go. I think everybody sees now. Well, thanks, Heather. Thanks all the WE team. I think it's great, an awesome opportunity to be here. And I love all the vibe that you always have at WE. There's always a positive vibe, cheering everybody up. And I think that's what the industry really needs right now. A strong group that can just help each other to keep going and get going better and growing better. Hello, everybody. I'm Luis. I've been in the industry for almost 20 years already, and I'm the managing partner of Milcom in the United States. Since 2010, next
slide.
There we go. Since 2010, Milcom has been a designer, manufacturer, and aggregator of audiovisual technology solutions. We have installed more than around 1,500 screens in 11 countries, all the way from the United States to Argentina. Next, please. We live by the mantra that basically unforgettable venues can evoke emotions. And after all these years, basically we have to get to understand that sometimes what people want to really feel is like togetherness, right? Like they go someplace.
Y'all make sure you mute yourselves.
Enjoying being part of something else, somebody, like sharing emotions with somebody else. And that when the venue has the right audio, the right image, the right comfort, then that unconsciously brings the brain to want more of that and enjoying, like suddenly you're back and saying, I really enjoy that location. I spend an awesome time. And sometimes it's not even like something that you just felt. It was just because you had a great time and you was with somebody else and you enjoyed how the audio felt in your body and how you actually got the story through those lenses and through those screens, right? So basically, that's what we're focusing on. We're helping exhibitors since then for the past few years, we have been helping to get the exhibitors with end-to-end solutions that help them create those emotions. And we've been doing like regular auditoriums, but also basically focusing on premium large formats, ScreenX, IMAX, Dolby Atmos auditoriums, helping them from end to end, basically setting from nothing to actually playing movies in the screen. Then we help them with the lobbies as well, from setting up all the automation, video, audio over IP, basically making an experience that can be seamlessly connected between it, and also give the operations team a way to control it and to do changes or do whatever they need for their venue. Lastly, we're also working with LED displays or direct view LEDs that are helping the exhibitors telling their stories better, or using the lobbies as an advertising place for posters or just trailers, everything else These LEDs have been coming down in price. And at some point, for a little bit more investment, you can actually get better performance than a bunch of TVs altogether. You can play, they have been used as art in the lobby, posters, trailers, everything, and they are very vivid, contrast is great. So in a way, it's awesome for them to use that space, right? And then lastly, one of the things that we came up with an idea when COVID hit and pandemic started, then we started saying, okay, how can we actually keep going with cinemas? Is probably a smaller cinema than we exhibitors started renting the whole auditoriums. Like maybe we can come up with a DCI, full DCI compliance auditorium that is a little bit smaller. And we designed, we did some of these down in Mexico for smaller locations and tried to get to like a community theater or a smaller venue that can actually play first-run movies and can be multi-purpose and things like that. So we designed all that stuff end to end. And last 2 weeks ago, we heard an exhibitor from Arizona that has like 4 or 5 these small theaters in their location, and they're actually very excited about it, and they're opening more in another location because they say they can rent it for any type of purpose. They're always full. They get continuous booking for like girls' night out, families with kids that they just they don't want to mess with anybody else. They just want to be with between them and stuff like that. So they're continuously searching for new ways to get these little rooms booked. So I think it's a very interesting idea that we are being helping as well. And well, lastly, and because I have like 3 minutes and probably I have like 30 seconds more. Lalo, it's always a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Like when I heard from Heather that this was going to happen, I didn't want to miss this opportunity. Always a pleasure to see you as an all-time colleague, admirer, mentee. Thanks for your mentorship on all that time that we worked together. It was definitely something that I cherished to my heart and propelled my career long time ago. So I definitely helped you for that. Thank you for that. And big hugs to wherever you are. And super proud of having a boss leading the way.
That is so cool. And of course, I terribly won't be offended if you help, sell my direct view product with your little cool theater.
Yes, that's part
All right. Oh, Luis, thank you so much. So y'all, his contact will be in the chat as well. And y'all make sure you put your contacts in there so people can get a hold of you. We got a lot of really great faces. So remember that when I'm through with my interview with Eduardo, if you want to say hi to him, ask a question, if you want to poke a tease him and tell him how much you love him, then make sure you raise your hand or let me know or send me a little note. Say, Heather, I want to say hi to Eduardo. So without further ado, Eduardo Acuna, let us take us on a little bit of a journey. We'd like to know a little bit about your childhood and where you grew up.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for the invitation. I feel extremely honored and humbled that you think I'm such a good interview. This is very cool for me, and I appreciate everything. Luis, I appreciate you sponsoring. Luis, more than a colleague, he's been a longtime friend, and it's just great to see him and see everybody here. It's just great. My childhood, I'm from Mexico, born and raised in Mexico, grew up in Mexico and lived there until 99. You asked me where I went to college, right? I went to college in Mexico. In Mexico, you go to college close to your house. You live with your parents. So the first time I left my house was to study abroad, to go for graduate school. I studied graduate school here in the US. I did 2 master's degrees, one in business and one in government. And that's basically my childhood and education.
Okay. Well, one of the things that we like to find out from our guests is there's probably a time in your life, and you can tell us what time that is, when you're 12, you're 16, you're 20, that you had a really big pinnacle change. What was that year or that time for you? And if you could go back and talk to that Eduardo, what would you say to him today?
Oh, I thought about this, and just spoiler alert, I had all these questions far in advance. It would have been more fun if they had been just shooting them, but I got a lot of thinking and actually input into this, and this was one of the tougher ones. I think the big change in my life came around puberty, if you will. I was one of those really late bloomers, so until, what was it, sophomore year in high school, I had a baby face and my voice hadn't changed, which probably served me well now because I got 2 years on everybody to some extent. But up until that time, I was a very, very bad student. I had mostly Fs in all my classes. I was about to get kicked out of school. And I changed schools and started going to school in the afternoon instead of the mornings. And so my school, I think I remember the school I went to, junior high was 8 to 2:30, and high school was 3 to 8 p.m. And that was the only high school that take me with my grades. So I went to that high school, and I immediately became another person.
Wow.
I got like straight A's all the time.
Yeah.
And my conclusion is I just needed to sleep. I was not a morning person. I was not a good student in the morning. And at high school, I just remember waking up at 1 p.m., getting dressed and taking a shower and smelling nice because I was an old boys school, and this school was co-ed. So I had to look good for the girls, I guess.
Yeah.
And I remember having the best time of my life, getting amazing grades, which also served me well to get into college, a good college, and then eventually a good graduate school and getting a good job. So I think that was a pivotal time in my life. I just needed sleep. And if I
Now,
could
when
go,
you go back to him, what would you say?
change schools earlier. Go to school in the afternoon earlier. The 8 a.m. school for you just didn't work. And I would have exercised more and done a lot more things if I think I had more sleep.
That's wow. I mean, it's
Yes.
fun. Maybe there's people here that have a kid that they're challenged with and have never taken into account what may be making them challenged within their academic
Well, actually, at the beginning of my career, I did some population studies, and I don't know if you know, when some high schools in the US started shifting to starting later, like at 10 or 11 a.m.
Yeah.
And the high schools that start the latest, the later you start, the standardized test for those students. So I'm a
Wow.
big proponent of letting teenagers sleep.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, that's good. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. So let's talk a little bit about your work history. You've done quite a bit before you came to Regal and Cineworld. So take us on that journey about what you've done in your past and what you're doing now.
Okay, so this is it's a pretty interesting a journey. For college, I'm an economist, and I was always an idealist, and I wanted to work for the government, be a public servant, and change the world. So my first job was at the Mexican Central Bank. You know how people say that whatever you do in college, you never do at work. I actually did exactly that in my first job. My first job was just proving theorems and doing derivatives all day long and writing papers for the central bank in the economic research department. So that was kind of not that cool, but it was my first job, very prestigious job to work for the central bank in Mexico. Then I was recruited by a consulting firm, McKinsey & Company, and I thought it was just really cool because their whole thing was, we don't really need an economist or an architect or a lawyer. We need someone who could solve any problem. And I was sold on that, and that was my second job, working for McKinsey & Company. Then from there, I always thought I was going to be a PhD in economics, and I was going to just go back to the Mexican government. And very quickly, I realized that these McKinsey people and their MBAs.
Infrastructure 4-round.
There you go. Mute your phones, please, y'all. Oops, mute. Right.
Yeah, sorry, there was someone on the phone there, but
I get to mute.
But I remember that at McKinsey, they told me, instead of doing a PhD in economics, you should do an MBA. And I still wanted to do both. And that's why I went into an MBA and Master in Public Policy in government school. So instead of taking 2 years, I had to be in grad school for 3 years. And in those 3 years, I had 2 summers. My first summer, I worked at Goldman Sachs in New York, investment banking. And in my second summer, I worked in India, in the rural South, fighting poverty.
Oh,
And,
wow.
yeah, very, very different pay, very different type of work. And after I finished my two programs, I decided that fighting poverty was my kind of my calling or my vocation. So instead of going back to McKinsey, who I owed a lot of money to, I went to work for the Ministry of Social Development in Mexico. And my job was to design the programs to fight poverty in the country, evaluate them. And that I thought was my dream job.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did after grad school, until I got a little disappointed with that kind of work. Lots of corruption in the government. Most of the things we studied really never happened, or some of them happened, but some of them happened differently. And I was mostly in an academic type of evaluation type role. And a former friend from grad school, Alejandro Ramirez, who, coincidentally has kind of the same background, also writing papers on fighting poverty in his previous life, came back to work for his family's company and Cinepolis, and he offered me a job. And I had no idea why I would do something in cinema or in that industry. But
Yeah.
I wanted to get out of Mexico City because Mexico City was quite dangerous back then.
Yeah.
And this job was a great job in Morelia. I took it and haven't looked back ever since. Started at Cinepolis in 2005, created the procurement department, moved into financial planning. Then I went to Brazil to start the company. I started the company in Brazil, grew it. Then I moved to the US and started running all of operations for the Americas. I was in charge of 11 countries. And then I got a phone call recruiting the new CEO for Cineworld Group, Regal.
Yeah.
I went in the interviews and somehow I got the job. And that's what I'm doing right now.
I love it. Well, I did tell you this on our pre-interview, but a few of the folks that you work with, when they were telling me that you came on board, they said they've been so impressed with the amount of time that you've taken to understand each division, and you've really just kind of put your head down, and it's made them all feel very happy and proud to work for you. How would you describe your leadership style, and how do you motivate your team?
I mean, my leadership style, I still have a hard time saying I'm a leader, right? But I want everybody in the room. I want to hear from everybody. It's a stark contrast with others, but I feel that more heads think better than one head, and I like to hear everybody's opinion. And I think that's how organizations first get aligned, and that's how you get to the best result. I also get the benefit, and I joke about this. If we're all making the decision, we're all liable for it instead of just me. So I like to hear from everybody. And I mean, people who are in this call from Regal I hopefully can attest to that I really want a lot of people in the room and I care about what everybody thinks.
Yep.
And I think that's how you make the best decisions.
I like it. What do you see, like, what are your visions right now of the challenges that are in our industry? What kind of hits you the most? Top couple things, obviously, besides content, but what do you
I think it's all content. I think there are a couple of issues that I have as a concern. One is content. In exhibition, we have no way of influencing content, and without content, we have no customers. I think that brings us the second challenge. Even though we have a very tough 6 months ahead of us, I'm an optimist and a real believer in our industry. So I think the biggest challenge that we have right now is to keep our teams motivated, that even through tough times, we'll get ahead, and that there are some tough decisions that are being made. We're cutting hours in the theaters, cutting travel, and a lot of things that we all need to do to just stay afloat. And I think the biggest challenge is getting your team motivated that even though you're going through tough times, the future looks bright. I think that's the first, that's a challenge for any exhibitor, any company. As an industry, there are a couple of things that I worry about. And it's what we taught our customers to do in the past few years. I actually had a call this morning with Disney, and we were, no discussion or disagreement whatsoever. I've had the same I had the same call with Paramount and Universal and others, and we were talking about windows, and I say this is not a conversation of an exhibitor asking a distributor make the theatrical windows longer. I'm genuinely curious whether by all this shortening of the windows, did we educate our customers that they don't really need to go to the theater because, you know, if there's a movie that looks kind of cool, but maybe it's not as cool or as important to make the sacrifice to go out, pay for a movie ticket, whereas our customers would just say, let's wait it out until it's on streaming. Did we educate our customers poorly into thinking that they could just see a movie very soon in their homes? And there's a lot of opinions about it, but that's a concern of mine. I can also say that I've observed that our studio partners and friends are actually increasing the length of windows lately. You'll see that many movies that were usually released in the past couple of years with a shorter window, they're getting longer windows. And I think that's encouraging. I just hope we didn't educate our customers in the wrong way.
Yeah, I used to be one of those that wanted to go like after the movie was out for a little bit, and now you realize it could be gone. And so you're right. We did educate our customer about a whole new, different way of preparing for their entertainment. So yeah, how do you approach building this relationship with the studio and the exhibitor, and then all your vendor partners? I mean, are you playing an active role in keeping these conversations going?
Oh, of course. I have this policy that even though we are their clients, there's, I want to say, two very important partners that we have, types of partners, studios and landlords, who, even though we're their clients, we have to treat them as if they were our clients. And I think that's very important. And we have all our vendors within, technology equipment, food and beverage, Pepsi, that kind of partners that it's a partnership. I hate to think, so in our industry, we're a cash business, right? And we have tens or hundreds of millions of customers. So we're not B2B where we have to treat our customers we couldn't just go to every customer and have dinner with them. On the other hand, we have very important vendors like the studios or landlords that we actually have to treat as our clients. And we have vendors in the technology and food sectors that we have to treat as partners. So I'm a big fan that treatment that we cannot give to our customers, we give to our partners.
I like it. Is there anything that's coming out technology-wise, whether it's your food and beverage, whether it's just your sight and sound? Is there anything technology-wise right now, or even AI-driven, that you think is going to be help change the trajectory of our industry?
I think the technology that we're going to see is more technology that you don't see but that you use. So I think our industry will become more, customer-centric. And if we want to be more customer-centric and treat our customers the right way, we need to eliminate frictions. We need to eliminate lines. We need to give them what they want. So I see that the future of technology within our industry is going to be with, our apps, the user interface we provide with our customers, our websites, the kiosk interaction when they get to the theater, that kind of thing. I think we have very, very good technology and innovations with 4DX and ScreenX, IMAX, those types of technologies. And our vendors, projection companies, server companies are coming with even better experiences than before. So I do see an advancement in those technologies, and I see new things that will be offered in quality of image and sound. But I think that most of the innovation will come from loyalty platforms and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I noticed you have your head of loyalty on here, and I'm just curious, as large as a company as you are and how many locations that you have, how do you guys address the loyalty program for your customers? Like, what's your secret sauce there that you're willing to share?
I think it's an ever evolving program. I think there are so many facets to loyalty.
Yeah.
And the way we are trying to evolve it is we have a really, really good program, but we need to make sure that we have an even better program and the best program. And we need to figure out, all the information that we get from that program and how to use it. And this goes back to customer centricity. And there are so many investments that have to be made within technology to take full advantage of these loyalty programs. And we just need to make sure that we get there. But it's one of our top priorities for sure.
Cool. Now, is there a thing out there that you would say that other people say that you don't agree with in our industry?
There are many, but I would say, other is not everybody. Of course, I don't agree with, we're never getting back to 2019 numbers. First of all, I don't agree with people comparing us to 2019. 2019 was a record-breaking year.
Right.
I like that we want to challenge ourselves as an industry to get there, but I don't think we need to get there. The other thing is that we're not getting there. I think it's a lie. I think we're getting there sooner rather than later. I do think in the next couple of years, we'll actually get to those numbers. And I think we'll still actually go higher. I see our industry as cyclical. We'll see. I joined the industry in 2005. And in 2004, we had a record-breaking year. And then in 2005, the numbers were down, and they were down for 2005, 6, 7, and 8. And the feeling in the room was a little cumbersome. And when I say the room, I was like CinemaCon and those types of, Show
Right.
West back then. And
Yep.
it's like, it's after 2004, we'll never get there. But then 2008, 9, 10, 11, all the way to 2019, every year was above 2004, and it was a record-breaking year. We were due for another one of those. It was pushed by the pandemic. But I'm pretty sure that very soon we'll start going back to thinking that 2019 was just like 2004. It was great back then, and we're even better now. So I don't agree with people saying that we're never going to get there.
So what's your long-term vision? What do you see for our future, maybe the next 10 years?
For the industry?
Yeah.
Oh, and this is for my future as a Regal or as
For yours with Regal, what's your contribution to the industry overall and you with Regal? Yeah.
Well, I think the first thing that we need to get to do to actually do is, again, understanding our customer and putting them first. And what that means for us is investing in what they want. Our customers have said that they really want recliners, and we were not at the forefront of the recliner conversion.
Mhm.
This is not going to be immediate because these are big investments, but we're going to start doing those. We're going to put technology first, service first. All of those things require time, but I do see a future of Regal when we go back to what I call the glory days. And the glory days were when I joined this industry in 2005, working at a Mexican company that was growing fast. I remember that Regal was a reference. Regal was the biggest company in the world, the most successful company in the world, admired by everybody. And somehow we are not there now. And I think we will get there soon. I hope sooner rather than later. It will not be as fast as we can, because obviously in such a tough year, trying to make so many investments is going to be tough. But I think very soon we'll be talking about a new Regal and the rebirth of Regal. And that's what I see for our company.
I love it. Thank you. That's awesome. Well, now we get to this part of the interview where we call it the fun 20 questions. And this is for our audience to get to see the lighter side of you. And as soon as we're done with this part, then we open it up to the audience. So these are the fun ones. So Eduardo, if you could have 3 people, dead or alive, to invite to dinner, who would you invite and why?
Okay. There's the right answer, and then there's the real answer.
Your choice.
The right answer is something like Abraham Lincoln and Churchill and Obama. But the real answer, and this is Eduardo, and you guys want to get to know me, it would be Ricky Gervais, Tina Fey, and Will Ferrell. We could talk movies, and I just have a fun time with those 3 guys having dinner.
I think that's the right answer.
That's actually the real answer.
Ricky Gervais too.
Can you imagine that dinner? It'd be so much fun.
I wouldn't be able to eat. Okay. What's the most interesting thing about you?
Oh, there's nothing really interesting about me. This one was even tougher than the other one. I'd say, and I had to ask my kids and my wife about this, and the conclusion I got to was most interesting about me is that I'm from everywhere and I'm from nowhere. I lived in so many countries and have done so many things and have jumped all around that I don't feel that I'm from Mexico. I don't feel I'm from the US. I don't feel I'm from Brazil, but I feel American. I feel Mexican and I feel Brazilian. And I just feel like I fit anywhere. I'm very fast at adapting to any country or situation and I enjoy it. On the other hand, I don't have these really close connections to only one place. I have really close connections to many places and have no deep connections to any place. So I guess I'm from nowhere and everywhere.
Okay, I like it.
That's a
Is
thing.
there a favorite quote or mantra that you feel that inspires you?
There's a couple. I think one that I really have liked for a long time is that it's hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So this goes to just being lazy. There's lots of smart people out there who just get by with their
Yeah.
talent, and I think if you don't work hard, hard workers will eventually beat you. So I think hard work is more important than talent.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, I'd rather be lucky than smart.
Yeah.
If you could time travel anywhere in the world, past or future, where would you go?
I go 500 years into the future.
Wow,
My
okay.
my personality is I love to be what's the word I'm looking for? I like to be amazed and impressed and seeing things for the first time. So a big example would be first time you go in a theme park ride is always awesome. The second time not as great, the third time. So the first time I see something, I love being amazed by something. So if I went into the past, I kind of know what happened. But if I'm 500 years into the future, everything will be a novelty. And that's something I'd like.
I like it. Make sure you guys mute yourselves. Okay. What is your go-to comfort food?
Ice cream. That was
Ice
it.
cream. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not a food. It's food.
What's
I
your
love
favorite way to unwind? Are you by yourself or do you go with somebody else when you're unwinding?
Uh, I would say my favorite way to unwind, and these days I'm in the road every week. So I'd say when I get home on a Friday, I'm just like an old grandpa. I want to sit on the couch, turn on the TV, not necessarily watch the TV. I like the TV on the background. It gives me peace, and just hang out with my family, I guess. That's kind of recent after I took this job and I'm on the road every week.
That's very nice. Okay. If you could master any skill that you currently don't have, what would it be?
Play the piano. That was also easy, like ice cream. I have no talent whatsoever. I'm not artistic. I can't draw. I can't sing, and I can't play a musical instrument. But if I could play the piano, I would just love to be able to do that. But I have no talent. If my right hand does this, my left hand has to do the same thing, and I have no rhythm or anything. Probably also dance.
Okay. Well, since you're not really that talented, what's the most adventurous thing you think you've ever done?
Oh, what's the most adventurous thing I've ever done? Many things. I'm a risk taker. I've flown in a Delta wing. I've done many of those things. I jump into any challenge. But
Yeah.
probably when I decided to move to India for a few months, when I decided to take that job, it was actually in the rural parts of India in the south. So houses made out of mud, no toilets as we know. I lived there for a few months, shaved my head, grew a horrible looking beard, wanted to get immersed into the culture. So I did the whole thing. And it was a very, very cool experience that I would never repeat in my lifetime.
I'm looking at lots of smiles as I scroll through these pictures.
This was in the rural South. These are, on the other hand, these are the happiest people I've ever met in my lifetime. But it was
Right?
just a tough situation. Yeah. This is not Delhi. This is not Mumbai. This is rural India, really poor parts of the world.
I remember I sent my daughter to Vietnam and Cambodia to do a thing called Arc Adventures, and she said she was so amazed by how little these people had, but how happy they were. And I was like, it's something to think about, right?
Yeah.
What's your favorite season?
Fall.
Okay. Is it because of the colors or the cool air? What's your reason?
Summer is too hot, winter is too cold. Spring and fall are great. Spring, you're a little desperate from the cold, and it takes a little while for the flowers to bloom. Fall, everything is pretty, and the weather is just getting really nice, and the colors are beautiful.
I know it. What's the most memorable concert or live performance you've ever attended?
Guns N' Roses, my first concert. Mexico was just opening up to the world. I was, I think, 12. Guns N' Roses was one of the first big concerts to come to town. And one of my friends, his dad worked at, I think, Sony Music.
Yeah.
So we got backstage passes, and I got to meet most of those guys, except for Axl Rose, who was like passed out. But it was very, very cool. And I was 12, and I heard things a 12-year-old probably should have not heard. Again, first time. It was really impressive. I will never forget it.
Wow. I just, for some reason, yesterday I was listening to music and I started to listen to Sebastian Bach from, what was that band? It was a rock band, and he was getting ready to open for Guns N' Roses. And it was, for some reason, I decided to watch the video, and I thought, dang, these guys were good back in the rock days. If you could swap jobs with anyone in the world, who would you swap jobs with and why?
Honestly, nobody. I can't find a job that I like better than the one I'm doing now.
Oh,
If I had to,
yeah,
probably a heart surgeon.
okay. So not like a football coach or okay. What's your favorite animal? Yeah.
Maybe a teacher. I love teaching. I used to teach in my past. I used to be a teaching assistant in college and in grad school, and I really enjoyed teaching, but I would not change it for any other corporate job.
You're still teaching, I can tell. What's your favorite animal?
I don't know. I like dogs, but if I had to choose one favorite animal, I was very impressed when I saw a leopard for the first time. I thought they were majestic and lonely, and I don't know that they would be my favorite animal.
Okay. What is your favorite movie genre?
Comedy.
Comedy. Okay. Yeah.
And,
Based on who you'd have at your dinner table. Yeah, can see that.
yeah.
What's
Iranian
your
artsy films. The right answer is Iranian artsy films. The real answer is a comedy.
Okay.
I like to
Iranian?
have fun and disconnect. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a favorite movie that's made you laugh?
Oh, Happy Gilmore. I love Happy Gilmore. But that's not my favorite movie. My favorite movie is actually not a comedy. My favorite movie is The Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, okay.
But maybe that's the correct answer, and the real answer may be Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore after a couple of martinis is just the funnest thing in the
Make you
world.
laugh. One year when Where the Millers was playing at CinemaCon, I was working at my booth after the screen, it wasn't a full screening, but it was the long trailers. And somebody walked by my booth and they stopped. They go, "Were you in the Where the Millers, thing?" And I said, "Yeah." And they go, "I recognized your laugh." I was like, "Yeah, that makes me laugh." Okay. What is your favorite movie snack?
Nachos. I'm a nacho person.
Okay. I think I already know this answer, but are you morning or late night?
This is a good. I'm better at mornings actually. I'm more efficient in the mornings, but I have a hard. I'm not a great sleeper, so I fall asleep very late, and I usually wake up early. So when I'm up, I'm good. I'm more productive, but I would say I do more things at night.
Okay. Do you prefer to have a phone call, a text, or an email as a way to contact you?
Text. Well, depends. I'm better at text.
Okay.
Emails, I hate so many that I tend to lose some emails. Text, I'm more efficient. Phone call, I like talking on the phone, but I think it takes a lot. Yeah, to text, I guess.
I always tell someone if they have something important and they put it in email, text me, could say, read your email, because a lot of times it might get lost, right?
Yeah. WhatsApp is even better than text, actually.
Okay.
The US has to catch up with WhatsApp.
So have you ever pulled a prank on someone?
I have nothing major. I thought about this long and hard. I tend to joke around a lot, I guess. That's what my family says. My friends say that, but nothing really major that would hurt somebody. I mean, the only big prank I could think of was my wife hates insects, and someday I got a hold of a plastic cockroach. I put it in between her two pillows, and she freaked out, and my kids laughed so hard that it made it, but nothing bigger than that.
I'm looking at some of your people on here. It's like John Lavigny, look out, he's going to pull a prank on you. How many languages do you speak?
3 languages. I speak English, Portuguese, and Spanish. Almost, I mean, as a native to some extent. I do have an accent in English and Portuguese. A little bit of French, but not that much. But I would say 3, yeah.
Okay, so what do you do when you're angry?
I don't have a particular thing I do. I don't often really get angry, but maybe if I do, I just want to be alone. And I find myself, I thought about this, I find myself playing Sudoku on my phone. I guess that calms me down. These brain games calm me down, I guess.
Very good, I like it. Okay, this is the last of the 20 questions. In the movie about Eduardo's life, who would play you?
Well, my original answer was, it has to be Brad Pitt or Leo DiCaprio because of the looks, obviously. And my kids were like, yeah, right. My kids say, my daughter said Robert Downey Jr.
Okay,
And
I can see
my
that.
son said Paul Rudd. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that.
so I don't know.
All right, I
I
love
still
it.
want to say I look like Leo DiCaprio, so Leo DiCaprio is the answer.
Oh, Antonio Sabato Jr.
Yeah, no, I don't know. That's a tough one.
Cool. All right, you guys, we've concluded our interview. So I'm going to start to work around the room. I'm going to call on you. We did have somebody that raised their hand. Patrick Artiaga raised his hand. Patrick, do you have a question or would you like to say hello?
I just want to say congratulations. Best of times to you. That's all.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. Thank you, Patrick.
Cool. So I know that we've got so many people here. I know that's going to want to say hi. Alan, of course, I know you wanted to say hi. Alan Weiss.
Yeah, hi. Well, thank you. This was actually, you lived up to 110% of your expectations. And just looking at everyone else on this, everybody was mesmerized, even though you are very humble. I could see why you're a natural born leader, even though you don't think you are. You really are. And I could tell, we, like I said earlier, we have our photo booths in all your Regal theaters. And I will give you a little bit of a praise here. We're up 20% on revenue since you became CEO. So something you're doing is right, and I think the future is bright. And our company is now planning on reinvesting in new photo booths in the Regal theaters. And I feel much more comfortable after watching you in action today. I'm really excited. So, and congratulations. I'll go along with that. Looking, no questions, just compliments here.
Very, very thankful for those comments. I don't think I deserve them, but I appreciate them for sure.
All right.
Keep the likes coming.
There you go. Ali Gorley, I got to grab you. You always got a good question. You don't disappoint.
Thank you so much. Eduardo, it was awesome hearing you speak. Just everything across the board was awesome. I'd love to hear if there's anything that you find the cinema industry in Mexico does better or does differently than what we do here in the US.
I think the cinema industry in Mexico has been really good at innovating and selling food items. So I tell you that I think back in the day when there were clearances, the big exhibitors in the US probably got a little comfortable and not invested a lot because you had that protection. Whereas in Mexico, it was, you either compete and improve or you'll get eaten. So I think a lot of innovations came from countries like Mexico. The dining theaters were actually invented in Mexico or Australia, depending on which group you ask. If you ask Cinepolis, they'll say they invented them. If you ask the Australians, they say they invented them. But both of them were around the 90s. And it was surprising that there were no dinings in the US until a good 15 to 20 years after that. So there was a lot of innovation, a lot of testing with food items, enhanced food options. And I think they did a great job at educating our consumers that you go to the theater for a big night out. So there's a lot of families that go out to the theaters as their monthly thing, right? So you have families that don't have a lot of resources, but they'll go out to the movies and they'll just overspend because that's their night out. And I think in the US, probably something to do with pricing and affordability. But I think we're also getting there in the US. And I think countries in Europe are also there. If at all, I think there's a lot to catch up and also to improve. Competition is something that I truly believe in. So very optimistic for the future.
Awesome. That's just awesome insight. I work for National Cinemedia, and so we're just here in the US. And so anytime I can learn about what's going on outside of our world per se, our small world, I appreciate it. Thank you for your time this afternoon too.
No, I appreciate your question.
All right, John Lavigny, you got to say hi. There he is.
Yeah, if I could work the technology, I'm so. Yes, hello, Heather. Hello, Eduardo. Great to see you again. As always, I could tell that the joking thing does not surprise me. You see him around, even in the cafeteria, and he always kind of has a smirk, and I'm kind of just waiting for him to say something to me. I asked him one day, what should I call you? And he said, well, let's start with Lord. So that's his personality. It was great. That was the first time I met him. So
that's a lie. I told you can call me whatever you want. And you asked me, what does your wife call you? And I told you, well, she calls me Supreme Lord, which is obviously a joke. If she hears me, she'll kill me.
As long as she doesn't come back for dinner.
Exactly, but I can tell you that his personality was infectious from the start that he hit the campus, and I think that it caught on very quickly with the entire team. So I guess my only question is, what has been the most surprising thing that you have either seen or learned since coming to our wonderful company?
Good question.
What's the most surprising thing? Oh my God, there have been so many. I will tell you that I was very, very positively impressed with our team. When you see a team that has been in the company for so many years, the love for the company, I was absolutely impressed and very obviously pleased with it. So the people is, and it has been a pleasant surprise. There are, other surprises, not as positive. I was surprised with how our company favored capacity over comfort in seating. That was just surprising to me, but I also understand the logic and how the decision was made. And I think that was surprising. And the biggest surprise, the biggest negative surprise by far was the actors and writers strike. If you tell me, I was so fortunate to join the company in the Barbenheimer weekend. So company had never had better results. And of course, I took full credit for those because I joined and that happened. But then, so that was a great surprise. And then the actors and writers decide to go on strike. I'm like, just please throw us a bone here, right? We're going from COVID to Chapter 11 to recovering to actors and writers strike. So that was not good. Another surprising fun thing is how people have received me. I cannot believe how welcoming everybody in the US, the UK, Central, Eastern Europe, and Israel have been to me. They've been very welcoming, and how our company feels like a family. The foundation of a great company is the people, and I think we have the best foundation. So I'm very fortunate and grateful for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to randomly choose someone else. Jen Lupo, you look like you're ready for me to call on you.
Hi, Heather. Hi, Eduardo. I'm also with NCM, and I am enjoying seeing some faces. I mean, NCM and Regal have a very long and storied history. There are some people on this call who I've known for longer than I care to admit. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Sherry. There's a couple others. looking forward to getting to know you better. Very excited about that. We'll be reaching out and working on that, but working with the team at Regal and everything, we're just very excited that both of us have emerged into this new growth period for both of our companies. So looking forward to working with you. Thanks for doing this.
No,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to keep going. Oliver Franz, would you like to say hi?
Unmute myself. Hi, I'm I'm fighting a cold, so I sound a little bit more mature than I typically are. Hey, my name is Olivier. Thank you for taking the time with us here, Eduardo. I'm with Max Cinema, and we actually provided Regal with some and Cineworld actually with some of our loudspeaker systems, which within your most recent installations. I was just curious, you have traveled a lot over the past few weeks and months, probably also visited your new theaters or new theaters for you. So, and up to now, which is your favorite? And looking towards the future and your future travels, which theater are you actually looking most forward to visit?
Oh, good.
That's a great question. My favorite theater, I have several. I mean, there's one that pops up in my mind. Chodov in Czech Republic is really, really, really nice. It was very surprising how I didn't expect it to be so nice. I would say within the UK, I have two that were really fantastic. Leicester Square, the IMAX screen there is just out of this world. And then we have our Picture House Central, which is just outrageously cool. We have that's not a theater, that's a cathedral of cinema, if you will. And it's really classy, sophisticated movies with a coffee shop, a restaurant, a private club, a terrace with the most beautiful views of London. So that's really cool. In the US, Union Square is amazing. Irvine Spectrum is great. So there are many that I really, really love. So going back to John's question on what has surprised me, our theaters are so much nicer than I expected them to be. So some of them. There are some that we need to get to that standard, unfortunately, and this goes back to the investment. So that's the next thing. Where am I excited for my next travel to be? I'm not sure. I think I'm excited to go to Knoxville. Believe it or not, I haven't spent enough time in Knoxville, and Knoxville is the loveliest place in the world. When I'm there, it's peaceful, it's nice. I get to see all the groups. And I just haven't been able to be in Knoxville as much, even though I allegedly live there. I do have a place there, but I'm just all over the place. The good thing is, I mean, I know a lot of you know that I just hired a person to run our international operations who will be in charge of the UK and Central Europe, Eastern Europe, and Israel. So that'll allow me to spend more time in the US. And I'm looking forward to that. But I guess, I don't know if that's a good answer. I'm hoping to go back to Knoxville soon. And there's just all these other trips that you never plan on. It's like I'm going to New York next week, and then to Los Angeles the following week, and then I'll be in Knoxville finally, and then I have to go back to Los Angeles, and all these trips I didn't plan to, but things happen.
Well, thank you. Thank you for spending some time with us. I look forward to hopefully meet you at CinemaCon in
I'd
Las
love to.
Vegas.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to go for a couple this time. Let's get the Spicers to say hello. Y'all better be prepared with a good question.
My favorite Spice Girl, I assume.
So,
Spice Girls.
Spice Girls. So I'm going back to earlier in your speech about you were talking about the windows that movies are held in theater. What you say that the windows are getting longer. What do you think caused the shortening of windows to begin with?
Well, I think for the longest time until 2019, studios had this hypothesis that you didn't need a very long window. And I think they were probably right. Windows used to be 90, 120 days. And they were concerned with spending marketing dollars twice. because they had to spend money when they released the film in theaters, and then when they released them in home videos. So they saw a synergy there that if the windows were closer to each other, two campaigns could become one longer campaign, 1.5, and save some money. That's what pressured the windows to go down. Then with COVID, theaters were closed. And with theaters closed, it was just an obvious time to experiment with everything, right? Streaming services, all those things. There's also a need to, everybody wanted to become Netflix. Netflix was, so successful, and the owners of the content saw an opportunity there. And in order to drive people to their streaming services, giving, exclusive content in their own services and make it, closer to the theatrical window as possible, or they believe was gonna enhance their numbers or improve their subscription numbers. I think that's what made them go shorter. I think at some point we all realized through just experimenting that the highest capacity, the highest revenue capacity of a film is achieved when it has a longer theatrical window. I don't think anybody is concerned about how to make others feel better about themselves. I think everybody's concerned to making the most money they can. And I see the windows expanding, and the reason I think it's happening is because the studios have realized that they will make more money out of their films with a longer theatrical window. And we just need
Finally
to
got it.
re-educate our clients into, if you don't go to the theater, you're gonna have to wait a long time before you can see it at home. And then we're gonna see even more people come back.
Oh, thank you so much. That was a great answer.
Yeah.
Great question.
And if
Okay, so we're gonna go,
before-
Aaron. No, sorry, go ahead.
No, there's one question that I was looking at my notes here very quickly, and
Yeah.
the question number 10, when you asked what is the long-term vision for
Yes.
my company and the exhibition industry, there's
Yes.
one thing I didn't mention that I wrote here,
Ah,
and I'd like to mention it is,
please.
I think the future of our industry, exhibition in general, is going to be to help people escape from the future.
Interesting.
Everybody thinks that the future is the Apple headset. Why would you ever go to a movie again if you can just put on an Apple headset and see a movie-sized screen in your face, right? So now the Apple headset is going to kill the movie theaters for the 2000th time in the past 100 years. And I think what movie theaters are actually going to provide is an escape from that future, because I don't think everybody who's going to want to be in their headsets all the time. I keep on hearing how Starbucks are going to be full of people with their Apple headsets, and airplanes are just going to be people with Apple headsets on, and so on and so forth. I think the movies are going to thrive, and our industry is going to thrive because people will want to escape that future, and people will want to escape from the cool thing about, think about it, you go to a movie theater and you don't look at your phone. And we all want to get a break from our phone. We can't, but we all want to. And at the movies, you get a break from your phone. So at the movies, you get a break from everything else. So I think the movies provide a great escape from what others consider the future.
I like it.
It's
Thank
probably
you.
the future,
I get it. I get it.
being in touch with people.
Okay, so we've got probably 2 or 3 more. We're going to go for Aaron and then John C. Hall, and I'll grab one last person. So if you want to be my last, raise your hand. Aaron, go ahead and say hi, please.
Hi, Eduardo. This has been great, of course. My question for you is, do you deal with imposter syndrome? And if so, how do you overcome it?
Hi, Erin.
Hi.
What's imposter syndrome?
Feeling like you don't deserve to be where you are, feeling like you're a fraud, even though you're not. You're clearly a very humble person, so I feel like that might be something that you encounter, but hopefully not. If you don't deal with imposter syndrome, great.
No, I get it. I don't really feel it that way. I feel like I don't feel like I don't deserve this job. I'm just very surprised that I have it. It's I would not say it's a, first of all, this is like a dream job. Again, when I started in the industry, Regals, like imagine one of these one day being the CEO of Regal. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't even fathom it. but I also didn't think I would live in Brazil or the US. So being the CEO of Regal more often than you think just gets me thinking, oh, shit, I'm so lucky. Now, I don't know if I would call it imposter syndrome because I think I've also been preparing for this job for the past 10 years without knowing it. And I hope I do a good job. And I think I will because I have a great team and they'll do the work and I'll just take credit for everything, hopefully. But no, I don't know. It's still surprising to me. I have to pinch myself. It's the best job in the world, lots of opportunity, and we just need to perform, I guess.
Okay, so we got John Hall and then we'll have Lizeth and that'll be the end. So John Hall, you said you had a tough question. What would that be?
Oh.
Yeah, thank you, Heather. Hello, Eduardo. I mean, it's not a tough question. It's just a thought-provoking one. So, coming from a big studio side to now being an independent filmmaker and with superhero movies sort of overall on the decline, what role, if any, does exhibition have in sort of guiding the studios and the content creators to shift and make more comedies, for instance, or stop making drama a dirty word? Like what role does exhibition, if any, have to guide the studios to make different content other than like stuff blowing up all the time?
Yeah, I mean, I think we talk to them a lot. I personally make a point to talk to them all the time and share our views, share our numbers as much as we can. One thing that has been, at least in every conversation I've had with the studio for the past many years, is do more romantic comedies. The romantic comedy, we get more positive surprises than negative surprises. And of course, a romantic comedy will never be a humongous blockbuster. And you can just tell them that. I don't know that we can influence how they invest their money. That's their company and their prerogative. But we do tell them. We also tell them shorter family movies do great. And then you show them numbers. You show them, I mean, everything but you had great numbers. Super Mario was absurdly great. And you can just show them those numbers and say, let's have more of these. But that's as much as we can do to influence. The other thing we can do is support other types of movies. And that doesn't mean not support the big studio movies, but companies like yours and others that are coming out with content, we need to give them more screens and support and try to make them work great and have that content available for everybody. And hopefully we get to a happy mix of films.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Lizeth, please pop up and then do our final question for us today.
Hi, Leandro. Hi, Eduardo, for sure. I'm Les from Minorica Seating. I bet you know about us from our business in Mexico. Well, I want to ask something from my point of view from the side of the industry. How do you think the actual experiences of the chair have influenced the whole cinema experience? And what will be that not negotiable feature you will look for in a chair during a movie?
I think the chairs have influenced our industry tremendously. It's one, if not the biggest, most important change in the past 10 years. And it's comfort. It's the one thing that we need in a chair is for it to be comfortable. If you ask me what's the second big thing, I'd say as an operator, easy maintenance and easy fixes and not expensive parts when they do break, 'cause chairs do break. But I think it's comfort. If you think about it, when you're in a theater, everything has to be perfect. Our lobbies have to be fantastic. Our auditoriums have to be great. But you spend 15 minutes in the lobby and 2.5 hours in an auditorium. And you're spending those 2.5 hours sitting down. So the better the chair, the better the most your customers will return, I think. So I think chairs are fundamentally important.
I love it. Well, Eduardo, we have had our time that we need of your executive time on your calendar. I'm sure you're doing like this, but we had the most turnout ever. And if you notice, people stay, which is so lovely, which is so fun to work around the room. And There's probably a lot of people that wish they could say hi. Y'all just leave your name in the chat as you exit. I appreciate everybody's time today. Eduardo, it was wonderful to get to know you a little bit better. Your answers surprised me and delighted me at the same time. So make sure you guys leave a comment when the little note comes around from Luma so I can share with him. We love to do a few screenshots when people tell you what they think. And we'll see y'all at CinemaCon April 9th. Be on the lookout for a little invite. It is a fundraiser, so even if you can't make it, throw a little love our way so we can keep supporting We and Variety. So thank you everybody for being the best part of We.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Okay.
Bye.
Okay. Everybody, like waving everybody. Okay, Spicers, y'all be ready. You're like, that's a tough act to follow.
We're excited. Cool. Have a great day.
I will. This warmed my heart. I kind of needed that. I needed a little upper.
Good.
Okay, I'm gonna end it, Neil. I'm gonna end it all. Luis, that was so sweet. You did good.
Okay.
Oh.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Heather.
Okay.
Thanks,
Okay.
Spicers. You guys are on stage next month.
That's right. I said, y'all,
Yeah.
that's a tough act to follow. They're like, okay, we're ready.
We wrote your
excited.
questions down too, because
Yeah.
we're like, all right.
It'll be the pre-CinemaCon edition, right, Heather?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Cool.
So we'll start promoting it here like tomorrow, like the next newsletter that goes out. And then what we do is we take everybody that was at this call, they get an invite. So they'll go, oh, that one was really fun. Let's try the next one. So
Yeah.
Cool.
soon they'll be member only. But with these, been how we've kind of gotten people to become familiar with We. It's been very, I'd like to say it was strategic. This was an accident, turned into something kind of cool.
It looked like there were like 4 or 5 pages of people today.